What you're about to watch is a 9-minute raw segment from my JMSS Thinking Lab, and it was a paid 2-hour workshop where students submitted the real challenges they were facing right before the entrance exam. And every student paid to be there, and they didn't just sit back and listen to me talk, they actually sent in their bottlenecks and their issues that they were struggling with, such as procrastination, burnout, content overwhelm, and being not sure where to start. And we broke them down live step by step, and I gave them protocols and techniques and systems to actually tackle all those issues. The segment that you're about to see covers something I call the 135 grid, and it's designed to eliminate decision fatigue, compress your focus, and make actual progress without spiraling into overwhelm. And I'm sharing this because so many students study aimlessly, and this one idea basically fixes that. This is just one part of the whole webinar, the 2-hour webinar. So if it really hits, what you can do is actually check the full webinar out through my website. You can get a download of the recording and then watch through it in your own time. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Anyway, enjoy the segment. Cool. Going forward, the 135 grid. Now, this is really, really important, especially for people who don't know exactly what to thoroughly revise, right? If you're someone that's like not sure, like, oh, should I revise this? Should I revise that? What should I actually focus on in the next 30 days or whatever? Which I've seen a lot, right? A lot of people are like, I don't know what to revise for, and I'm so close to the exam. The answer to what you should revise for is, I don't know. Right. I don't know exactly what you should be revising for because you have a different experience to every other student that I teach. You have a different experience to people like me. You have your own unique experience. So you need to actually identify what the struggle points are for yourself. Right. And this is a skill that you need to build all the way through high school and all the way into university as well. If you find yourself struggling on very specific things, or you find yourself noticing that you need improvement on something, and the best thing you can do is apply the 135 grid component or focus, right? So first thing, I say a week in this, ideally a few days, right? Ideally a few days and things like that, okay? Instead of a week, just change this to a few days. This is assuming that you're doing the year 10 exam, which is in like roughly 2 months or things like that, but you have one major focus. Okay, so what's one thing this week that would make this week like a win? And by a win, I mean massive progress in your final exam, or whatever you mean to find a win is, right? If you define a win as, for example, if you're feeling a little bit tired or burnt out, you define a win as just getting through your schoolwork, that is fine, right? If you define a win as going through 100 exam papers or something, that's fine as well. Right, that's what your win condition is, like feeling really productive or just getting by, right? It's a-okay to be on either end of the spectrum, because in this point in time, a lot of people are very overwhelmed, right? Just the fact that you guys are here right now is really, really cool and impressive, right? So just pick a major focus and focus on that one thing and outline that one task, that one goal for the next few days or the next few weeks, right? Ideally like a week max, but then preferably like a few days, right? Maybe 3 days, yeah? So one major focus, for example, this might be you want to focus on your calculation speed. Okay, you might want to focus on your calculation speed. And this is something that you're really struggling with, and you think that, okay, well, I'm like not making time in my mathematics exam, or I'm not making time in my numerical reasoning exam. What exactly can I do to improve drastically and substantially? You might go, okay, well, I want to improve my calculation speeds because I know the content really, really well for pretty much every single question that I've done. It's just I can't calculate it. I can't calculate it fast enough, right? 30 seconds isn't enough time for me. I need more. I need a minute. I need 2 minutes, whatever it is, right? If that's what your weakness is, or if that's the thing that you want to improve on, that's your major focus for the next few days. And you obsess over that. You obsess over that. And you really try and make good amounts of progress and good amounts of leeway into that thing. Okay. Different people have different things they should be focusing on the next couple of weeks, right? It isn't just about content, right? You would know by now, like if there's specific content that you're not familiar with and you're not comfortable with, right? You should know by now. You're a smart person. If you're coming to this workshop, you're a smart person, right? You should know, hey, I'm always putting back like chemistry-based topics and chemistry-based prompts because I just really don't like revising chemistry. And that's one of the weak points that I have because I take a long time on them. I might end up getting the question right, but I take a long time on studying chemistry. You know for a fact what you should be working on that week. You know for a fact, hey, I should be working on chemistry this week. So pick up the textbook and then go through it and understand it and break it down, right? Make notes if you have to. Yeah. So you're smart. You know if you have content gaps and things like that. Okay, so you should be able to focus on those things. If you have zero clue what the content gaps are, literally just type in Year 9 Science Curriculum VCAA. Yeah, VCA, Year 9 Science Curriculum. Go on that website. It will tell you every single thing that Year 9, Year 10 students expected to know. right? Every single thing a year 9, year 10 students expect is all there, right? Make sure you tick those boxes. Okay. That's usually all you need to do. So pick a major focus, if as long as that's on content and things like that. If it is, then by all means feel free to study content. But pick a major focus. For example, I'm doing calculation speed. Okay. Then you pick 3 checkpoint tasks. So one in the 135 grid is pick a major focus, and then 3 checkpoint tasks is literally just small goals that help support this focus. Okay. For example, this is something that you might do every single day. Okay. So for me, it might be like a checkpoint task could be doing like 30 calculation questions in 15 minutes. Okay. Okay. 30 calculation questions in 15 minutes. Okay. That's, for example, one task, right? The next task I have could be to create flashcards of random like arithmetic questions and then go through in my school day. And then every time I'm kind of bored in class, which I know for a fact happens for a lot of people, every time you're bored in class, you just pull up one of your flashcards, and your flashcard might have like a summation or a multiplication, 193 multiplied by 72, right? You look at that sum and you try and do it in your head, and try and do it in less than 30 seconds or less than 20 seconds or less than 10 seconds, however, whatever speed you're dealing. Okay. And then if you have the answer, you turn it around and you see whatever the answer is for this one. Yeah. And this is maybe another medium task that you do, right? This could also be the 5 light touches that you have, right? 5 light touches that you have. So this could be one of the few things that you're constantly doing every single day, right? So this just makes sure that your brain is what I call logged in, right? You guys probably know by now, at the end of my like YouTube videos and stuff, I always say log off and do something else now, right? There's a whole spiel as to why I say stuff like that. But that's for another day. We'll talk about that later. But log in and make sure you're actually showing up, and make sure you're actually doing these things and making progress in it, right? You'll know for a fact that math is one of those topics where if you don't focus on it for a few weeks, you're gonna regress, right? You're gonna go backwards, and that's not what we want to do, right? So just have some short little thing every single day that you can do, and have 5 of those things. Have 5 small little activities that you can do. Right. So, for example, this could be one of those short activities, or this could be a medium checkpoint task where you want to get through like 30 flashcards in a day or something like that. Right. And you want to have like 30 of those flashcards actually reach 10 seconds, but then your 5 light touches is just being able to go through 10 of them, right? And you don't have to get them done in 30 seconds. Yeah? This is just something that you can do. So this is where you need to play around and find methods that actually work for you. Okay. I'm a big fan of this flashcard proponent. If you've ever come to my workshops, if you've ever come to my classes and things like that, this is one of the techniques that I just like will live and die by. This is how you build up calculation speed for like really quick numbers, right? Back in my year 9 days and stuff, where I was preparing for John Monash, I would just come to school with like a stack that big of flashcards. And these aren't even like proper cards. These were just like slips of paper, right? And I would have like stacks that thick of just like things, and I would have them in a rubber band, and the paper would tear and stuff. And I put it in my pocket, and then like pretty much whenever the school, like the teacher was getting a little bit boring, I would just like undo the rubber band quickly and then look at a sum and then see if I can do it in my head, while still somewhat paying attention to the class, because obviously it's important to pay attention in class and things like that. But I would just do stuff like that, right? I try and make it a little bit more fun and engaging for myself. And then I check the back and stuff and then say, oh yeah, that's true, right? Sometimes I would just like go on a calculator and double check it as well if I still remember the summation. But most of the time I would just have the answer at the back of the flashcard, right? And I'd go through as many of them as I could, right? And I had like flashcards. I had like, I think it was like 4 or 5 different packets of things. So I did like multiplication and then division on one day, and then I did a whole bunch of like decimal addition, decimal subtraction, things like that. Then I had decimal division, decimal multiplication, and things. And I just would just do a whole bunch of them, because for me back in like that day, it was a struggle for me to like really focus on multiplication, division, and then a lot of decimal stuff. I can do simple summations relatively easy, but I really struggle with doing things with decimals for some reason, right? I was a little bit dumber back then. Technically still am, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's what I would do, right? And that was a technique that worked for me. Yeah. So you need to actually sit down and go, well, what's some like light tasks that I can do? What's some checkpoint tasks that I can do to make sure that I actually am still pushing this goal? And by the end of the week and the end of a few days, you should ideally see progress in these things, right? So it's called the 1-3-5 grid. Super, super valuable thing. You can use this for anything. Doesn't have to be just John Monash numerical reasoning or John Monash science. You can use it for anything, right? For example, if you want to focus on chemistry, like the student that wanted to focus on chemistry, like I had before, right? You can just have like specific chemical reactions and stuff, and you can be like, well, what is the output of like this specific chemical reaction? And go, okay, well, it's acid-base reaction, so it's always going to give me a water, and it's always going to give me this, it's always going to give me that. If I have carbon in there, it might give me carbon dioxide. If I have some type of like hydrochloric acid stuff, it's giving me a chloride, and so on and so forth, right? Being able to understand and memorize those things. Yeah. Cool beans.